Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be diving into Appwrite,
Appwrite, right.
which is an end-to-end back-end server for pretty much anything that you're building.
Yeah.
Web apps,
Yep.
mobile apps,
Native app.
even back-end apps.
That's right.
So
Back-end for your back-end.
yeah, so it's open source,
It is completely open source, yeah.
which means that people can see exactly how it works.
Yeah, and contribute to it.
Yeah, and even customize it if they want to.
Exactly.
So it's really all about just making app development faster and more secure.
Yeah, I think that's one of the main goals of Appwrite.
Yeah, I think a lot of our listeners can get behind that.
Absolutely.
So Appwrite takes care of all the behind-the-scenes stuff like user authentication,
Yeah.
databases, file storage.
Cloud functions, AI.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Okay, so that's a lot to unpack. But before we get too deep, I want to remind everyone listening that if you're enjoying this deep dive so far, hit that subscribe button
Yes.
and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think.
We love feedback.
Yeah, tell us about any specific features you'd like us to explore or even other platforms.
Absolutely. Those suggestions help us create content that you'll find valuable.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right, so now back to Appwrite.
Let's dive in.
Let's start with authentication.
Okay.
It's more than just usernames and passwords, right?
Oh, yeah. Way more.
Way more.
Appwrite offers a ton of options for user login, like email and password.
Yeah, the standard.
The tried and true phone verification, we've got magic URL links.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those everywhere.
Yeah, those are becoming super popular. And it also supports OAuth 2 for over 30 providers.
Okay, hold on. OAuth 2.
Yeah.
Can you break down what that means
Sure.
for developers and users?
So OAuth 2 lets people log into your app using accounts they already have.
Okay.
So instead of creating a whole new login for your app, they can just click sign in with Google or sign in with Facebook.
Oh, I see.
It's super convenient for users, and it's way more secure for developers because you're not handling sensitive password data.
So you're basically saying I never have to build a login system from scratch again.
You got it.
That sounds like a dream come true.
Yeah, it takes a huge weight off your shoulders and lets you focus on the unique features that will make your app stand out.
Okay, color me impressed.
Right.
But what about all the data that makes an app tick?
Right.
That's where databases come in, right?
You got it. Every app needs a place to store its information, and Appwrite databases provide a really robust and scalable solution.
But databases can get complex.
For sure.
How does Appwrite make sure things stay organized and manageable?
So Appwrite uses a system of databases, collections, and documents.
Okay.
Think of a database like a giant filing cabinet.
All right.
Collections are the drawers within that cabinet, and documents are the individual files holding specific pieces of data.
So if I'm building like a social media app,
Yeah.
I might have a users collection.
Yeah.
And each user gets their own document
Exactly.
with their profile information, posts, and so on.
That's right.
That makes sense.
And to make working with that data even easier, Appwrite has features for filtering, sorting, and even breaking large data sets into smaller chunks so you're not overwhelmed.
That's super helpful. But what about custom logic?
Okay.
How do we make our apps do more than just store data?
That's where Appwrite functions come in.
Huh.
Imagine them as little snippets of code that you can create to do pretty much anything you need within your app.
Okay.
Sending a welcome email to new users.
Right.
Processing payments, resizing images on the fly, all of that can be handled by functions.
So I can set up a function to automatically generate thumbnails whenever someone uploads a new picture to their profile.
Exactly.
It's really cool.
And to make things even easier, Appwrite offers pre-built templates for common tasks.
Oh, nice.
So you don't have to start from scratch every time.
That's a huge time saver.
Yeah.
But I'm also a big stickler for security.
Sure.
Are these functions running in a safe and isolated environment?
Absolutely. Each function runs in its own secure container with its own set of environment variables, so your code is protected and can't interfere with other parts of your application.
Okay, that puts my mind at ease.
Good.
But speaking of cool features,
Yeah.
I heard Appwrite can handle file storage too.
It can.
That's got to be a game changer for apps with lots of images, videos, and other media.
You're right. File storage is a crucial part of many apps, and Appwrite Storage lets you upload, download, manage, and even transform files directly within your app.
Transform.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking resizing images for different screen sizes.
Yep.
Maybe converting file types on the fly.
It takes care of a lot of the tedious media processing tasks, so you can focus on the bigger picture.
And if we are talking about big pictures,
Yeah.
what about AI?
Okay.
Didn't I hear Appwrite has some AI capabilities?
It does. Appwrite lets you integrate AI models for things like computer vision, natural language processing, and even audio processing.
Oh?
You can analyze images, translate text, even generate music right within your app.
Wait, AI composing music?
Uh-huh.
How does that even work?
It's pretty incredible. You can use text prompts to guide the AI and create unique musical pieces.
So I can basically type in, like,
Yeah.
create a happy, upbeat song,
Yeah, and it'll give you something.
and boom, instant custom soundtrack.
Yeah. It's pretty wild, and for developers who might be intimidated by AI, Appwrite makes it surprisingly easy to integrate these powerful capabilities into your projects.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground already,
I know, right?
but I think our listeners' minds are officially blown,
Yeah.
and we're just getting started. Make sure you stick around for the next parts of our deep dive into Appwrite. We'll be going even deeper into some of these amazing features and exploring how they can help you build truly remarkable applications.
We'll also be talking about Appwrite's real-time API,
Ooh.
which is a game changer for creating dynamic and responsive user experiences.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I'm really excited about.
Yeah, it's super cool.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a moment to hear from you.
Uh.
What are your initial thoughts on Appwrite?
What features are you most intrigued by?
Yeah.
Drop a comment below and let us know.
Yeah, and if you're enjoying this deep dive,
Please like and subscribe.
don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more insightful explorations of cutting-edge technologies.
We'll be back soon with part 2.
We'll be back soon with part 2.
See you then.
See you then.
Welcome back.
So it seems like a lot of you are curious about Appwrite's authentication,
Yeah.
especially OAuth 2.
Mm-hmm.
Can we unpack that a bit more?
Absolutely. So OAuth2 is this really popular system that lets users log into your app using accounts they already have with providers like Google, Facebook, or GitHub.
Right.
Appwrite supports over 30 of these providers right out of the box.
Okay, so instead of creating a brand new account just for my app,
Yeah,
I could just use my Google login or something.
you got it.
That's super convenient.
Yeah.
But what's the advantage for developers?
The biggest win for developers is security.
Okay.
With OAuth2, you don't have to store user passwords
Okay.
or worry about protecting that sensitive data. All of that heavy lifting is handled by the provider.
Oh, so Google or Facebook, whoever they choose to log in with.
Exactly.
So it's a win-win.
It is.
Users get a seamless login experience.
Yep,
And developers get a huge security boost.
for sure.
I'm starting to see why this is such a popular feature.
Yeah.
But what about Appwrite functions? We touched on them earlier.
Yeah.
But I'm curious,
Okay.
what are some real-world examples of how developers are using them?
Oh, the possibilities are truly endless. You can use functions to trigger emails,
Right.
process payments, resize images, connect to other services, and so much more. Essentially, any custom logic or action you need your app to perform can be handled by an Appwrite function.
Can you give me an example that really brings this to life?
Sure. Imagine you're building an e-commerce app.
Okay.
When someone makes a purchase,
Yeah.
you could trigger a function to automatically send them an order confirmation email, update your inventory, and notify your fulfillment team, all without you having to lift a finger.
Wow, that's amazing.
Right.
It's like having a whole team of invisible helpers working behind the scenes to keep your app running smoothly.
Exactly. And one of the coolest things about functions is that they can be triggered by all sorts of events, not just user actions.
Okay.
Database changes,
Right.
file uploads, even scheduled events or webhooks from other services can all kick off a function.
So it's all about automating those repetitive tasks.
Yeah.
Making your app more dynamic.
Precisely.
That brings us to another powerful feature.
Okay.
Appwrite's AI capabilities. We briefly mentioned it before.
Right.
But it's definitely worth a closer look.
It is.
I'm still geeking out over the fact that Appwrite can even handle AI.
I know, it's pretty cool.
It's not something you typically see baked into a back-end platform.
Yeah, it's pretty unique.
How does it actually work for developers?
So Appwrite lets you connect your functions to pre-train AI models. So you can leverage the power of machine learning without having to be an AI expert yourself.
So for instance, if I want my app to automatically tag photos based on their content,
Yeah.
I can just use an existing image recognition model through Appwrite.
Exactly. You could set up a function that triggers whenever a user uploads a new photo.
Okay.
The function would then send the image to the AI model, get back the identified objects and scenes, and use that information to automatically tag the photo.
That's incredible.
It's powerful stuff.
And it opens up so many possibilities for creating smarter and more engaging app experiences.
Definitely.
What other cool things can developers do with Appwrite's AI integration?
Well, you can do things like language translation,
Okay.
sentiment analysis, text summarization, even build your own chat bots.
Wow.
And of course, there's the music generation aspect we talked about earlier.
Right, the AI composer, that one really caught my attention.
It's pretty wild.
It sounds like something straight out of science fiction.
I know, right?
It's pretty mind-blowing. You can essentially give the AI a text prompt,
Yeah.
like create a happy, upbeat song, and it'll generate a unique piece of music based on your request.
That's right.
Think about the potential for personalized soundtracks,
Yeah.
interactive games, even AI-powered storytelling.
The possibilities are endless.
I'm starting to feel like we're living in the future.
I know, me too.
But let's bring it back down to earth for a minute and talk about Appwrite's databases again.
Okay.
We covered the basics earlier, but I'm curious to learn more about how developers work with data in a practical sense.
Sure. So one of the key things to understand is that Appwrite stores data in documents,
Okay.
which are essentially JSON objects.
Mm-hmm.
These documents are then grouped into collections,
Right.
which you can think of as categories or containers for similar types of data.
So going back to the social media example,
Yeah.
I might have a user's collection.
Right.
And within that collection, each user would have their own document with their profile details, posts, followers, and so on. That
Exactly.
makes sense.
And to make sure you can find the data you need, Appwrite provides powerful query features
Okay.
that let you search, filter, and sort your documents with incredible precision.
So I could easily find all users who live in a certain city
Yeah.
joined after a specific date
Mm-hmm.
or have a particular interest.
Absolutely. You can even create complex queries that combine multiple criteria to pinpoint exactly the data you're looking for.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
But what about relationships between different types of data?
Okay.
Let's say I want to link a user's posts to their profile.
Right.
How does Appwrite handle that?
So Appwrite has this feature called relationships,
Okay.
which lets you model those connections between different collections. So instead of just storing a user's name within each post, you can actually create a direct link to their user document.
So it's like creating a network of interconnected data.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That sounds really powerful, especially for complex applications.
It is, and it makes your data much more structured and easier to manage. Plus, Appwrite's real-time API works with the database changes too,
Okay.
which means you can get instant updates whenever something changes.
Okay, that's something I want to hear more about.
Yeah,
Real-time updates from a database.
it's a game changer.
That opens up a whole new world of possibilities for creating dynamic and collaborative app experiences.
It does. Imagine building a collaborative document editor where multiple users can see each other's changes in real time.
Oh, wow.
Or a live dashboard that updates instantly as new data comes in.
That's truly game-changing. It's like
Yeah.
taking the power of Google Docs
Yeah.
and bringing it to your own custom applications.
Exactly.
But before we get too carried away with real-time magic, let's circle back to something we touched on earlier.
Okay.
Appwrite storage, we talked about uploading and managing files.
Right.
But I'm intrigued by the concept of transformations.
Sure.
Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah, so let's say you're building an app where users can upload profile pictures. With Appwrite Storage, you can automatically resize and optimize those images on the fly so they look great across different devices and screen sizes. You can even convert file formats or apply filters to create custom visual effects.
So I can upload a high-resolution image,
Yeah.
and Appwrite will create all the different sizes and formats I need for my app
Yeah.
without me having to write any complicated image processing code.
That's the idea. It takes care of all those tedious tasks so you can focus on the creative aspects of your app.
That's a huge time saver.
For sure.
And speaking of saving time, what about those resumable uploads we talked about?
Oh, yeah.
Those seem like a godsend for anyone working with large files.
Resumable uploads are a game changer for handling large video files or other media-rich content instead of uploading the entire file in one go. Appwrite breaks it down into smaller chunks.
Okay.
This means that if the upload gets interrupted for any reason, you don't have to start all over again. It just picks up where it left off, making the process much more reliable and user-friendly.
That's a huge relief.
Right.
Especially for users with less than perfect internet connections.
Exactly.
It's all about creating a smooth and frustration-free experience.
For sure. And what's really cool is that Appwrite Storage works seamlessly with the rest of the platform. You can use functions to trigger actions based on file uploads, or leverage the real-time API to get instant notifications whenever a new file is added to a particular bucket.
Okay. I'm officially blown away by the sheer power and versatility of Appwrite. We've covered so much ground already, and I feel like we've only scratched the surface. I can't wait to see what we uncover in the next part of our deep dive. But before we move on, I want to remind everyone listening, we love hearing from you.
If you're enjoying this deep dive, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more insightful explorations of cutting-edge technologies.
And drop a comment below to let us know what features have got your attention or if there are any other platforms you'd like us to dive into. We're always on the lookout for exciting new topics to explore. We'll be back soon with the final part of our Appwrite Deep Dive, where we'll be talking about the game-changing real-time API and wrapping up all of our key takeaways. See you soon.
Welcome back to our Appwrite Deep Dive.
It's been quite a journey exploring all the amazing features this platform has to offer.
It really has.
From rock-solid authentication and flexible databases to those super powerful functions and AI capabilities that seem straight out of the future. Appwrite seems to cover it all.
And we can't forget about that smooth, reliable file storage.
Oh, yeah.
And the real-time API.
Yes.
But before we wrap up, I want to shift gears for a moment and talk about what this all means for you, the developers building the next generation of incredible apps.
That's a great point. We've geeked out over the tech, but how does Appwrite actually empower developers and change the way they work?
Well, think of it this way. Appwrite takes all the complexity of building a backend and just handles it. No more spending weeks setting up servers, wrestling with database configurations, or writing tons of boilerplate code.
Right.
It's like having a supercharged toolbox full of ready-to-go components so you can focus on what makes your app unique.
So instead of getting bogged down in the back-end nitty-gritty,
Yeah.
developers can spend more time on the front-end stuff
Exactly.
that users actually see and love.
Right.
Faster development, more focus on user experience.
Yeah.
That's a winning combo.
Absolutely. And because Appwrite is open source, you're not locked into any proprietary systems.
Right.
You have complete control and flexibility to customize things if you need to, which a lot of developers really appreciate.
Plus, with Appwrite's awesome documentation, the active community support, and all those SDKs and tutorials, you're never really on your own. It's like having a whole team of experienced developers backing you up.
It really is.
But here's a thought-provoking question as we wrap up.
Okay.
We've seen how Appwrite can make building backends easier and faster. But what does this mean for the future of app development?
Oh, that's a good one. It seems like Appwrite is lowering the bar for entry, which could mean we see a huge wave of innovation in the app world, right? More people with great ideas will actually be able to build them without needing to be back-end experts.
Exactly.
It's democratizing app development. Who knows what incredible apps will emerge from this shift? Maybe the next social media giant, a revolutionary healthcare app, or even a game-changing educational tool, all built with Appwrite at their core.
That's super exciting.
It's a really exciting time to be a developer. Appwrite is constantly evolving, too.
Yeah.
So the possibilities are practically limitless.
I completely agree. Well, that brings us to the end of our Appwrite Deep Dive.
It has.
Huge thanks to our expert for guiding us through all the amazing features and possibilities.
It's been my pleasure. I love talking about technology that pushes boundaries and empowers developers to create amazing things.
And a huge thank you to all of our listeners for joining us on this journey.
Yes, thank you.
We hope this deep dive has given you a solid grasp of Appwrite and how it can revolutionize the way you build apps.
I hope so.
But don't let the learning stop here. Dive deeper into Appwrite's documentation.
Explore the community forums.
And most importantly, start building something amazing.
Exactly. Appwrite puts the power to create in your hands.
But before we sign off, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment, letting us know what resonated with you the most about Appwrite or what other technologies you'd love us to explore in future deep dives.
We're always looking for new ideas.
Until next time, keep diving deep.